Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this Next.js tutorial, and in this tutorial we will see role-based access. So this is the manager's role, because of which you are seeing this manager's section over here. If I just log out, and again if I just log in over here, so this is the user dashboard and the user has logged in, so I'm saying this user data over here. Okay, so based on the roles, I am showing a different data. Let me just show you all over here. So this section will be visible if the role is admin. This section will be visible if the role is manager. And this section will be shown if the role is user. Okay, so by default, the default role will be the user, and we can also set the manager and the admin role also. Okay, so this is how our application will work, where we will be giving the role-based access to the different users. So for that purpose, what we can do, we can register, and manager role is there. I will create the admin role. Okay, so I will say admin at gmail.com, and 1 2 3 4 5, and I will give the role as admin. I will register the user, and then I will try to log in with that admin. So now admin has logged in successfully. So now I'm seeing this admin panel. Okay, so I'm seeing basically this particular section, because role is admin over here. So now let me just explain you all how am I doing this. So first of all, what have I done? I went to the Prisma file, which is inside of the Prisma folder, main root directory. This is just a continuation of the previous code. Okay, so over here I'm taking the data source from the database URL, which is inside of our env. Okay, so instead of a env, we have this database URL jwt secret over here. So I am taking the data source from here, and then my provider is Prisma client JS. Then I'm having my user model, which is having the ID, email, password, role over here, and the created it. And now when it comes to the role, I'm attaching this particular enum over here. Okay, so whatever is the name over here, same you have to give over here. Okay, and by default, if I'm not providing any role, by default user role will be taken. Okay, and when you update this prisma file, we have to run this command. Okay, so npx prisma migrate dev hyphen hyphen name, and whatever name you want to give, you can give that name. I've given the name as a add hyphen role. Okay, so copy this and then go to your this thing command prompt and just paste it and run it. Okay, then it will create the this migrations file over here. Okay, so if you just see, this is the migrations file which it has created for the role. Okay, so that's it. So this is all about the change what that I made to the prisma file. Okay, so now next comes the registration route. So when it comes to the registration route over here, this is just like how we have seen previously. So let me just do one thing. I will take postman. So postman over here. So previously what we were doing, we are passing the email, password, and name we are passing. If you want, you can pass the name. If you don't want, you might not pass. Okay, but over here I am also passing the role. Okay, so I am passing the role, and we have already declared this many roles only. Okay, so we have defined only 3 roles, so you have to pick up either of these 3 roles. So I'll say Akshay 1 2 3 4, and password is 1 2 3 4 5. Role is admin. If I hit, it is saying the user has been registered and this is the role. Okay, so when it comes to this registration route, if I go inside of my auth register, so it is taking the email, password, and the role. Then we have to check inside of the prisma, await prisma in the users user model. So this is my user model over here, prisma.user.find unique, where I have to check whether there is already user exists with this same email, which is this particular email. This email exists. Now again, if I create another user, it says user already exists because this email id is already there in my db. Okay, so let me just refresh, and see, this email id is already there, so it will not allow me to create another user. So that field check I have kept over here, and then whatever is the password, I have to hash that password. And for this hash password, I have written this function inside of this leap auth. So there is this hash password and the verify password, two functions I have created over here. So this will return me the hash password, And when it comes to the saving the data in the DB, I'm not saving the actual password. I'm saving the hashed password over here, as can be seen. Okay. So then, if once the user has been registered, I'm sending this particular data. There is message user registered successfully, and user's data and whatever is the status. Okay. Next comes the login. So now, when it comes to the login, let me just log in with the same email. Password is 12345. Okay, once the user logs in successfully, I'm getting this token that user has logged in successfully, and this is the token. So when it comes to the login, I'm taking the email and the password over here from the request JSON. So basically, I'm taking email and password from here, and then I'm fetching the user. Okay, so I'm fetching the user from the DB Prisma dot user model, and if the user is not there, I will say invalid credential, or if the password is not correct, I will say invalid credential, or you can give the email doesn't exist or something over here, and you can give the message as the password is incorrect or something like that, but I have given the invalid credentials message. Then it comes to generating the token. So when it comes to generating the token, I'm using the jwt.sign function. Inside of this, I am passing this payload. Okay, so while creating the token, I am sending the ID, email, and also the role of the person, and then the secret. Secret is basically what I have declared inside of my env. Okay, jwt secret inside of my env file here. This. So I am using that secret over here, and I am defining that expires in, which is basically after 1 hour my token will be getting expired. Once the login is successful, I am sending the response as the message as login successful, and also the token which I have generated over here in this particular section. Okay, we can see that over here, this is the message and this is the token that I have got. So this is basically the login. Okay, and once the user logs in, let me just go directly to the dashboard now. Okay, so when the user logs in, we have to divert the user to the dashboard. Okay, so for that purpose, what have I done? Let's go to the dashboard API. So over here, instead of the header, I will check whether user is having the authorization right or not. Okay, so this I have already explained you all earlier, but still let me just explain you all over again. So this is my dashboard. Now if I just enter, it is saying invalid token because this is the token which I've entered in the previous tutorial, which is yesterday. Okay, and our token expires within 1 hour, which I've already taught you all over here. It will expire in 1 hour, but now we are referring this today, so that's why it is giving the message invalid token because my token has already expired. So just now I have hit this login API, and just now I got this fresh token. I will pick up this fresh token from here. I'll copy this. I'll come over here and I will replace this token, and I will hit enter. So now I got the message as successful, and this is the user and this is the role and this is the ID. Okay, so now let me just explain you what is going on. So when it comes to the getting the dashboard data, I'm checking the authorization header, the request.headers.get. From the headers, I'll be getting the authorization. So this is my headers, and there is this key called authorization. So I'll get the auth header, and if the auth header is not there, then I will say no auth header. Okay, so I will remove this. That means this authorization key is not here right now. Let me just hit. It is saying no token. Okay, so it is giving the error message that no token is there because right now there is no authorization key. Now let me just enable this authorization key. Now this authorization key is there. Now if I hit enter, I'm getting the response. Okay, so now when it comes to this authorization header, which is basically this key, and when I say request.header.get authorization, so it is basically getting the this key is this value. Okay, so this authorization key is having this value, which is bearer and then space and then this token which I pasted over here. Right now what it is doing, we just want to fetch this token. Okay, we just want to fetch this token, and this token is in form of, so now when it comes to this authorization, so it is something like this. Okay, authorization is nothing but bearer and then space, and then this is the token. Okay, EYJH, whatever that is, EYJH. JH, whatever is this. Okay, so dot dot dot, this is my lengthy token. So when I do authorization header dot split on this particular space, there is a space in between, and when I say square bracket 1, that means what am I doing? I'm splitting this in two parts where I am separating this bearer and the token separately. Okay, so then this bearer is on the index 0 and this token is on the index 1. So I am referring to this token. Okay, and whatever is on the index 1, that is basically my token. I'll be capturing this in the constant variable token over here, and then I'll do one thing. I'll verify my token. I will use the verify the token, whether the token is correct or not. If the token is correct, then I'll get the payload. And this payload is nothing but exact same thing what we have passed during the login time. During the login time, when we generate this token using JW.sign-in, so this is the payload what we send, okay? And if the token is valid, if the token is correct, then we will get the exact same thing, that is user ID, email, and the role. So when the this JWT verifies this token is correct, in the payload I will get this exact same thing that we have passed inside of this JWT as a payload. Okay, we'll get that payload, and from that payload, then what we can do, we can just extract the user's ID and user's email and users role. Okay, so now if we just do something like this, okay, so this is the payload. Okay, so if you do the payload dot id, you will get the payload id, and if you do payload dot what we else we have passed email. Okay, so now if you just give the email and role, so this is my role, this is my email, payload dot id. Okay, so these are the number of things what you will get. So now let me just do one thing, let me just refresh. I will log in the manager's role. We're getting unauthorization error. Why is it so? Okay, wait a minute. I have added this for the sake of your understanding. I forgot to comment it. So now let me just log in. So now I have logged in successfully. And now if you just see over here, okay, so if you just see payload over here, this is the console payload which is giving payload.id. I got a 7 over here. Then my email, which is payload.email, which is this manager's email. And when I say role, I'm saying payload.role and I'm getting this role as manager. Okay, so this is how we can fetch this data. And yeah, so this is what it is doing. And then once I'm done with this payload, then what am I doing? I'm going to my database and I'll search over there user with this specific ID, which is ID 7, and then I will select ID, email, and the role. Okay, so that means I will go to my database. Where is my database? Here. And whichever is the ID 7, this is my ID 7, I will select the ID, email, and the role. Okay, I am selecting these three things from my DB. Okay, and then I am just sending the data. I will be returning a response as message success and the data of the user. Okay, so message success, and this is the data of the user, which is ID, email, and the role. Okay, so this is how we are fetching the data with the help of this dashboard API. Okay, so now let me just go to the dashboard, the UI part. So this is my UI part. So over here, what am I doing? So this is basically refers to this part. Okay, so this is my dashboard. Once the user has been logged in successfully, then I am coming to this dashboard page. And when I come to the dashboard page, over here I am seeing the user data, that is user's email, the user's role, and this section which has been specifically dedicated to the manager section. Okay, so over here what am I doing? When this component gets loaded, so first of all I am calling this fetch user. Okay, So when it comes to this fetch user, first of all, I'll take the token from the local storage. So now let me just show you. If I go to the application over here, this localhost 3000, there is this token saved. Okay, so I am picking up this token which gets saved over here during the login process, which I've already taught you all in the previous tutorial. Okay, so I'll get the value of this token. If the token is not there, then I will push the user to the login page. Okay, so now let me just show you. Let me just remove this. Right now this token key is not here. Okay, now let me just refresh this. So what it is doing over here, I have removed the token key from here, right? That means this local storage dot get id token it will not find. That means token is not there. If the token is not there, push the user back to the login screen. So now it can be seen, since the key is not there, we have been pushed back to the login screen. Now I'll do one thing. I will log in over again. So as can be seen, when I was logging in, that time this token got set over here. Okay. So during that time this token got set, and when we come to the dashboard, that time this token we are getting over here, once we get the token, what we are doing, we are passing that token into the header authorization. This we have seen over here. We need this authorization and this bearer and this token and all. Okay, so from the postman we can do it like this by going to the header section, adding the authorization key, and this is the value what we are adding. But when it comes to code wise, inside of the code, what we have to do, whenever I am calling this API, which is API dashboard, that time it will look for the authorization, right? And authorization it will not find. So for that purpose we have to pass the header also. I'll say header and then authorization key, and this is the value, bearer space token, and this token we are getting from the local storage. Okay, so I am doing that. And if suppose if there is an error like 401, we'll push the user back to the login screen. And if error is 403, that means user is not having the dashboard access, then we will throw this error. Okay, 403, you do not have the access. And if the API response we are not getting proper, then we'll throw the error that something went wrong while fetching the API. Okay, and if nothing like if we are not getting any status like this, or we are not getting any error, that means we are getting the response correctly, right? Then once we get the correct response, that is the user data, I'll set the user data. Okay, set the user data over here to the use effect. Okay, and then we can access the data with the help of this user, and I am doing that over here. Okay, and now let me just show you all what I'm actually getting from this user data. So I'll do console dot log data. I'm getting this data. Okay, let me just refresh. Okay, so inside of the data, I'm getting this message and this user. Okay, user with email ID and the role. But I don't want the message. I just want this specific user. Okay, this specific user object. So I'll say data dot user. Let me just refresh again. So now as can be seen, I'm getting this ID, role, and the email over here. Okay, so now I'm just assigning that data to this use state hook. Okay, and over here inside of my UI, first of all I'm having this header which says dashboard, and then I'm saying welcome user.email, where I'm giving the user's email over here, and then user's role. Okay, user.role, which is manager over here. And then I'm just checking. Okay, over here now let me just tell you one thing. I want to show you all the role also. Okay, so I want to access the role which is data.user.role. Let me just refresh. As can be seen, the role over here is manager. Okay, so this is the manager who has logged in. So now what am I doing? This section is only visible to the admin when the admin will log in. Okay, when the users.role is admin, then this section will be visible. When the users.role is manager, then this section will be visible. As can be seen, it is saying manager section, and you can view the report, assign task, and monitor progress, which I am seeing over here. Okay, And when normal user will log in, he will see this section which is user dashboard. You can update your profile, view your data, and manage settings. So now let me just log out, and I will log in with this user. And now this is the normal user. Okay, so this is basically the normal user. He is not admin, not manager. That's why he is seeing this particular section. Okay, is user dashboard. You can update your profile, view data, and the manage section. Okay, so he is seeing this particular section because he's a normal user. So this is how you can give role-based access to the users, and you can hide and show some specific data from the users based on their roles. So if you want to watch more such videos, please consider subscribing, because in the future I'll be posting more such videos on the Next.js. And if you like this tutorial, please hit a like and drop a comment. And if you are new, please consider subscribing, because subscription is free. Sorry guys. Thanks for watching.